students. Welcome to the Checkpoint online sessions. I'm Mr. Charles. This is the third lesson for the fifth week. Please go to your coursebook, page 93. Caught in the net. Let's read together. Mumbai, Karan was 17 when he first played the popular online game Counter-Strike. Soon, an entire evening was not enough, and he started skipping classes, eventually bunking off school entirely. We had a call from the school saying he had not been attending for 4 months, says his father. Karan, which is a pseudonym because he did not want to be identified, suffers from what doctors call internet addiction disorder. Last week, as the internet turned 40, the first residential treatment center for online addicts opened in the US. According to psychiatrists, excessive internet use becomes pathological if it interferes with a person's daily life and if he or she suffers from withdrawal symptoms when deprived of access for more than an hour. Karan has been undergoing counseling. Anecdotal evidence suggests he's among a rising number of people caught in the internet's web. I have been counseling 6 to 8 new cases of internet addiction every month this year, says Mumbai-based psychiatrist Dr. Seema Hingorani, adding that her patients ranged from 10-year-olds to those in their 50s. Many of them tell her that they don't see any problem with surfing and game playing, even though they do very little else. Difficult vocabulary. To bunk off means to break away, and here bunking off is a gerund. Pseudonym, it's a noun that means alias. This word that you had in one of the checkpoint past papers. Alias to mean this person has chosen to be kept unknown, or this name or this object has chosen or has been decided to be kept unknown. Residential as an adjective to mean domestic, related to houses or housing. Psychiatrist is a person that does psychotherapy. So psychiatrist is a profession, is a noun that means psychotherapy. Excessive is an adjective to means too much, lavish. Pathological is an adjective to mean compulsive, compulsory, unconsciously done. Interferes with is a verb to mean intervenes with. Withdrawal is a noun to mean the cancellation, the withdrawal symptoms, like when you're addicted to a substance, let's say nicotine, and when you stop having this substance in your body, let's say you stop smoking, for example, you start experiencing withdrawal symptoms. For example, you start being angry more often, you start itching more, you start to be more irritated. These are called withdrawal symptoms. So the cancellation of this substance in your system. Symptoms as a noun to mean indications. They are the signs of something. To be deprived, to be denied, to stop from providing something. Counseling in this context is a noun and to mean advising. Anecdotal is an adjective and it means this is based on a personal story, not scientific evidence. The pieces of evidence that this doctor had, Dr. Seema, were anecdotal based on stories from patients, not scientific study in a lab with research results and so much more than words. Page 94. Let's read together what Queen Rania of Jordan has to say. Picking up a book is one of the cheapest entertainments around. The simple act of reading, what you are doing now, has been characterized as everything from a silent conversation and a tool for building a better life to a refuge from reality and a technique for time travel. A story has the power not only to place you in another life, but also to connect you to otherwise indifferent individuals. With enough books and enough people, you build a shared culture. Imagine that you couldn't read. This is the case of 774 million adults around the world. Those are the unlucky masses who have never had the tools to build a better life, taken refuge from reality or time travel. Even worse, 75 million will soon join them as illiterate adults. And a childhood that is often characterized by days with little to eat, sick, or elderly relatives to care for, or dirty, airless factories to work in. Not being able to read is an added punishment. It denies them any form of escape. Learning to read and write has the amazing capacity to change lives. An education can increase your income. An education can teach you about diseases. An education can make a person more confident, more responsible, and more able to contribute to the lives of others and to their country. This is where the power of reading truly lies. It is the subtle force that can move mountains as well as minds. My hope is that reading, without which education is impossible, will finally be universally recognized and valued for its ability to bring personal and social development to the global community. This is a written piece by Queen Rania of Jordan to the Sunday Times magazine. Text analysis. We have to analyze the first three pieces or the first three paragraphs from this piece in terms of content and vocabulary and syntax. So, content, what does each paragraph contain? What are the information contained, or what are the pieces of information contained in each of these first three paragraphs? What about the syntax, the grammar for each paragraph? What's the dominant feature of grammar regarding each paragraph? And what of the vocabulary used in each paragraph? For the content of the first paragraph, it states the many benefits of reading. It introduces to us to the many benefits of reading. In the second paragraph, the Queen uses statistics to evoke shock. She tells us that 774 million people are illiterate, and another 75 million children will join them as adults. This is shocking to make the readers shock. And she uses data on working children to evoke pity. She tells us that children who work in dirty, airless factories as well. This image that she creates through writing evokes pity in us. In the third paragraph, again she states the benefits of reading with more of examples. As for education, teaches or increases income, and it teaches about disease, and then it makes people more confident, more responsible towards themselves and their countries. In terms of syntax, in the first paragraph, we have varied sentence structures. We have simple, compound, and complex sentence structures. In the second paragraph, the Queen opens with an imperative. She tells the reader, imagine that you can't read, a command. This puts the reader immediately in that position she wants. That is the person that cannot read. It would have been a different situation if she had said, for example, what if you couldn't read? This creates a vague, slow image in the reader's head in comparison to a fast, more vivid image with an imperative. Imagine that you are there. She uses the triple structure with the characterized by. So she says that characterized by days with little to eat, sick or elderly relatives to care for, and dirty, airless factories to work in. In the third paragraph, again she uses triple structures with the education can do this, education can do that, and education can increase more confidence. And again, when she states the education can make a person, she uses more confident, more responsible, more able to contribute. So triple structure inside the end of a triple structure. The vocabulary in the first paragraph, she uses alliterative words. So alliteration in these words: building, better; refuge, reality; technique, time, travel. And this is to make a phrase memorable. Alliteration, one of its uses, not so many uses, is to make a phrase or a sentence or an idiom memorable. In the second paragraph, she uses the inclusive you. She tries to include the reader by this: imagine that you couldn't read. She uses an intensifying adverb that is the even worse. Not just worse, she says even worse to intensify the effect. And the third paragraph, again, she uses alliteration or alliterative words: the move, mountains, minds. This is a triple word, just like technique and time travel in the first paragraph. The T alliteration. Here the alliteration is with M. How to be persuasive, but at the same time unbiased. So, how can you convince someone to do something, or to buy something, or to join something without sounding biased, without sounding that you are 100% just presenting one point of view? Persuasive pieces, whether they are written or spoken, follow a certain structure, certain presentation of ideas, in order to make sure you convince your reader or listener of what you want, but at the same time maintaining neutrality, maintaining being in the middle. First of all, while you're drafting your written piece or speech, think of the opposing view. Think what the people, what are the negative points they will address to you while you're presenting your idea. Start with these opposing points of views. What is bad about your topic of persuasion? If you're trying to persuade me, let's say, to join your party, start your speech or written piece with what's bad about your party. If you're trying to persuade me to buy a laptop from your company, start your speech or written piece with what's bad in your company or in this laptop series or line. The ratio of 2 to 3 is the magic ratio for persuasion. You have to start with the opposing view, let's say 2/3 of your essay, or 1/3 basically of your essay should be about the opposing views, and then the remaining 2/3 should be of your stance, of the positive points, of why I should join your party, of why I should buy this laptop from you. So more reason and evidence is put into your stance and less for the counterpoint. So 2 for the counterpoint and 3 for your point, your stance. Always end with a strong positive effect. Don't go back to the negative opposing counterpoints. Because most of readers remember what comes at the last of your speech, or at the end of your written piece. Make sure you end strong. You end a positive point or a positive reason or evidence to make us believe that we should join your party or that we should buy these pieces of clothes you are offering or we should join your university. Whatever the topic of persuasion you are presenting, start with the negative, with reasons and evidence, and then move to the positive, reasons and evidence, and make it relatively longer. And end with your best weapon, if we may say, with your best reason and evidence. Touchy-feely robot to teach in schools. Page 96. Let's read together. Scientists are trying to create the world's first robot teacher with the capacity to respond to a child's moods and emotions in the classroom. The personal, empathetic, and human qualities that make a good teacher would first be analyzed before being programmed into the robot. Working one-to-one with the machine, children would be able to communicate through a touch screen on their desks, the designers say. The robot would gather information via sensors and cameras, allowing it to recognize emotions using clues such as the child's facial expressions and body language, and do that to cross-reference its database. Although the project is intended to find new ways of teaching and learning, and will begin by training the robot to teach geography to pupils aged 11 to 13, the implications of endowing machines with the ability to recognize and respond to emotions are far wider. The unconventional teacher will be able to sense when one of its pupils is upset or struggling to cope. It would then provide the appropriate comfort and support. If all goes to plan, the robot will be able to speak and move its head and arms, assess how well each child is doing, and adapt its teaching style or material appropriately, just as its human equivalent should. Some teachers have reacted with skepticism to this project, which is called emote, saying that a large part of what makes a teacher effective is the building of trust. Children are naturally curious, and it is through conversations with their teachers that cognitive and emotional skill develop. A robot cannot know a child in the same way as a parent or teacher. Others say that we should not be scared of using new technologies to widen professional expertise in order to enhance teaching methods and improve the life chances of young people. Difficult vocabulary. Capacity means ability. Programmed, instructed. So the robot is given specific instructions. Cross-reference is to compare. It's a verb. And this means that the robot, when it faces a child's facial expression, it compares it with its database. That is, its database includes if the child shows this certain facial expression, it means that the child is hungry. Or if it shows this facial expression, it means that the child is angry or sad or does not understand the information explained. So whenever the robot sees what the child has shown on his or her face, it cross-references it, it compares it to its database. Endowing means providing. Unconventional, unorthodox. Equivalent, the counterpart. Skepticism, disbelief. Cognitive, rational, as opposed to irrational or emotional. To enhance means to augment, means to make better. Empathetic means sensitive to other people's feelings. We're done for today. Thank you very much for listening. Stay safe and keep up the good work.